nga kitalo wendi babawaka basa bakoze babawaka basa.
Ku Mbale Express TV olunaku olwaleero ekitongole ekya National Environment Management Authority oba kiyite NEMA bakwataganye n'abatuuze naddala ba Mbale District saako n'abatuuze abakweno okuba nti bagezaako okuba nga ate bazaawo obutonde. Jjukira nti Elgon Sub Region zezimu ku ezo region ezibadde very vulnerable ku disasters nga floods saako ne landslides era nga Elgon region efiiriddwa abantu abasukka mu 100 myaka gisembyeyo 5. Kakati olunaku olwaleero abasajja ba NEMA n'abakyala bavudde ne bakwatagana ne society basobole okuba nga ate bazaawo obutonde bw'ensi nga basimba emiti egya bambu naddala ku mbalama z'emigga mu Elgon Sub Region era ng'olunaku olwaleero basibye nnyo mu Mbale District. Olunaku olw'enkya bajja kuba beegatta ku nsi yonna okuba nga ate bajaguza olunaku olwa International Biodiversity Day era nga luno olunaku lugendereddwamu okuba nti lugezaako okuba nga ate sensitization nti yadde weetuli naye n'obutonde bulina okubeerawo ate obutonde kitegeeza ebintu ebyo ebitwetoolodde. So bye bibadde olunaku olwaleero katubikutuuseeko wano ku Mbale Express TV.
Bamboo is one of the very, very good species for carbon sequestration. And therefore, planting bamboo to restore this river bank is just the best thing to do. We only want to request and ask the people around here to ensure that they are protected. The eucalyptus around here, this is an alien species, and this eucalyptus should be removed. I therefore plant this for God and my country. I'm removing. Already removed.
Yes, sir. Hold it and tell us why you can
again? It's not good for environment. First of all, it is an alien species. This is an introduced species. This is not its habitat. And therefore, if eucalyptus is allowed to be here, it will colonize all of this place. And because also it is an aggressive feeder, it will be able to absorb as much water as possible. And yet the communities need water. So therefore, eucalyptus is not good. It affects hydrology. It also affects ecology. So therefore, it is not the best. And I want to ask and request everybody to ensure that those other trees are removed.
What makes bamboo a better species than this?
Bamboo, as I had earlier on said, bamboo is, first of all, it adapts very well. It is not an invasive. It will be able to, it is also a very good in carbon sequestration. So it also have several purposes. You can use it for paper, you can use it for building, you can use it for furniture, several things, which eucalyptus is not. And therefore, that is the one that we should be able. So, and it is compatible with its surrounding. It will not be able to destroy the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I am called Michael Bernard Kanut. I am the Assistant Commissioner in charge Eastern Region.
Thank you.
Our office is based in Mbale, NEMA.
Day of International Day of Biodiversity, South of Africa is pleased to support NEMA efforts of restoration by contributing these trees, 10,000 trees, to support restoration of Mahuba River. And we are pleased that while we are doing our work, tower construction, and do a little bit of destruction, we come back and restore to balance the ecosystems. So, for God and my country, Tower of Africa, plant this trees.
Asante sana. My name is Victor Nahawe. I'm the Commissioner in charge of Environment Enforcement and Field Operations. Today I'm representing the Executive Director NEMA. I also equally work at NEMA headquarters. I supervise all the field operations, including the NEMA regional offices. Today marks one of the activities, restoration activities, geared towards commemorating the World IDB, International Biodiversity Day. And it's going to be celebrated, or it's celebrated every 22nd of May. For this specific one, which will be celebrated tomorrow or commemorated tomorrow, will be in Bares district. And so there are a series of activities that we've been involved in, specifically in the Mount Elgon project area, ranging from Kwen, Kapchorwa, Bay areas to Gishu areas. Now, today we've been, of course, since this week began, we've been restoring the degraded ecosystems, particularly the landscapes around the river banks. And for today, as we can witness, we are planting 3 species, specifically bamboo, to make sure that we restore the degraded area, river bank, specifically of River Makoba. And as you see, we are still continuing. Our effort is to make sure that all the degraded ecosystems in Mount Elgon area, Bugishu, Kapchorwa, Osebei, are well restored. We are working or partnering with other partners, with the public, with the local communities, with Tawako, who have been our great partner in providing different tree species. And for this specific area, we are preferring bamboo because of its ecological functions, which it's a good natural, it supports climate modification as opposed to the alien species like eucalyptus. Eucalyptus actually, in one way or another, is likely to affect the river flow because it drains a lot of water, and so it can affect the water during the dry season. And so we are opting for bamboo because of its ecological function. Tomorrow we shall have the D-Day, and we shall have all the members of the public, the civil society organizations, and other government institutions joining us to commemorate this day. And we call upon the public to turn up in big numbers to understand, protecting the environment, protecting biodiversity, protecting the ecosystems is the way to go, as you realize that these days we have a big challenge of climate change, and so you can even see it has an impact on the food productivity. If we don't really do a lot, then we shall have challenges associated with lack of food or food scarcity, and so we are promoting food security. And so we call upon the public to work with us so that we protect our environment for the future generations. Thank you.
I'm James Okiriate here, the project manager for Mount Elgon project. Mount Elgon is just a short form of the long name of the project. The long name is Promoting Integrated Landscape Management Approach for Conservation of the Mount Elgon Landscape. This project is a Government of Uganda project. It's a 5-year project. We started way back in 2023, and we're supposed to be closing in 2027, which is next year. The project has a goal of enhancing food security and conservation of ecosystems that provide benefits for rural livelihoods. So that is basically what the project is aiming at. Food security. In food security, we are focusing on 4 staple crops. We are looking at maize, we are looking at beans, we are looking at Irish potatoes, and then bananas. So we want to improve production of those 4 crops But also the additional crop that we are looking at is sustainable production of coffee. You know that Mount Elgon landscape is famous for Arabica coffee, and ours as a project is also to see that we improve the sustainable production of coffee. So we work with the Ministry of Agriculture, Industry and Fisheries as our core partner for those crops that I have talked about. Then we also work with the Ministry of Water and Environment, in this case focusing at issues to do with restoration also, particularly of riverbanks and wetlands, but also the forests, the central forest reserves. Then we work with local governments, 9 local governments in the landscape. Why? Because the activities are being carried out within the jurisdictions of the districts. So that's why we work with districts, but also there are local forest reserves, which are under the jurisdiction of local governments. So that's why we also partner with local governments for this work. Now, as a project, we have so far done something that we are proud of. There are a number of restoration initiatives that we have undertaken. In terms of wetlands, since the project started, we have restored 127 hectares of wetlands. For forests, that is central forest reserves, we have restored 410 hectares, specifically of Namatale Central Forest Reserve. Namatale Central Forest Reserve is found between Mbale district and Sironko. So the 2 districts share that Central Forest Reserve. But also we have done some restoration on local forest reserves, particularly Mutufu in Sironko. We have done some restoration there. But we have also, before we did the restoration, we had to develop restoration action plans, which are guiding the restoration efforts. So we developed restoration action plans for forests, wetlands, riverbanks, and then hilltops. So that is what we are now implementing. After developing them, we are now implementing, and that's what you see here. Because this is one of the rivers that we intended to restore from the inception of the project. When we started the project, we identified this as a river that required restoration. We have this, that's River Makuba. We have River Kamisaru in Manafa. We have River Kaptokoi in Kapchorwa. We have River Sironko in Sironko district. We have River Sundent in Kwen. We still have more that we are going to start on restoring because there are a number of these rivers. We are also will be working on River Manafa because this one pours actually to River Manafa, not very far from here. So the other day I was with the communities at that spot where this river pours to River Manafa, and they told me that once there is much water in River Manafa, it actually, River Manafa stops this one from flowing in because the volume will be high. And then now when this one, the flow of this one is stopped, it then bursts its banks and overfloods the area. And that is why we prioritize restoration of this river to sort of arrest that kind of scenario. So that is what we have done in terms of restoration. Then when it comes to the crops, the crops that I talked about, I will start with coffee. We have done quite a lot with coffee. We have done numerous trainings of people, the farmers that are involved in coffee production, just to make them, ready to participate in the coffee value chain. But we have also, as a project, linked them to international markets, working with Bugisu Cooperative Union, working with other private sector like Kalamugosi Women Empowerment in Sironko. We also have Bushika Integrated Area Cooperative, that is in Bududa. Then we have Mount Elgon Agroforestry Cooperative Society, which is in Mbali. So working with those, the farmers in the Bugishu area that are involved in coffee production have been able to be linked into the international markets. And they have also been trained in the different certification schemes for coffee. Here we are talking about fair trade, we are talking about organic production of coffee. Because for your coffee to get a market in Europe, it must be certified. Is it organic? If it is not, because you know something organic, you don't have to use fertilizers. So we encourage our farmers to grow without use of fertilizers. So that is what we have done in the coffee. I must say that coffee has sold this project to even the international community. When you go out there, they talk about the project because of coffee. Recently, we were actually invited to Addis Ababa. That was this year in April. We were invited to Addis Ababa to showcase what we are doing as a project. And people were impressed because it was a meeting that was organized by the international community. After reading our reports, they really felt that they needed to hear from us, and we explained to them. So that is as far as coffee is concerned. Now when it comes to the food crops, that is maize, beans, bananas, and Irish potatoes, I must admit that we have done very little on that. Reason being, we got delayed a bit with the procurement process. We started the procurement process to actually get service providers to help us in, delivering inputs to the farmers. But it took us long, a bit of time, until recently when we had the contract being cleared by the Solicitor General, because that's government policy for you to actually engage a service provider where a large amount of money is involved. You must first of all take your documentation to Solicitor General for clearance. So we received clearance recently this year, and now we are entering into contracts with the service providers. So we are looking at, hopefully, the second rains, because this rainy season is about to end. So the second rainy season, that is around August, we should be able to start with farmers of coffee, bananas, maize, beans, and Irish potatoes. We should be able to work with them and see that, because what we plan to do is first of all to set up demonstration gardens. We have already identified farmers that we are going to be working with on their farms. So we shall set up the demonstration garden where farmers from nearby will be learning from. So that is what we shall be embarking on in August, starting in